So this is the longer version of the Aux Auto complex, also known as Auxland. I was hoping to give you a little bit of an overview of the property and show you as it is, and hopefully in the future, the progress that we make. I'll also be switching back and forth between voiceover and camera video. I had some issues with batteries and whatnot, but this is the first structure on the property. It's a 14 by 30 storage shed, but this is what is going to be Kay's art studio. First thing I had to do was replace the door. There was no lock, there was no deadbolt, and water would hit the face of the door and drip inside every time it rained. So new door, seals up nicely, and it has a deadbolt on it, so it's a little more secure. But this is Kay's art studio, and it also was my bedroom a couple times when I came down here, slept on the couch. Kay's going to have pretty much free reign to do what she wants in here. She's going to have workspace. She's going to have her creative ideas flowing. She's already started painting the walls. I imagine at some point this whole thing will be covered in graphics. Once the carpet was out, I was able to find these tiles for 13 cents a piece. They were discontinued, and I think they were ugly, but they just stick on. Works fine for us. The second part of the room is kind of like a living room, where I got some carpet for 20 cents a foot or something like that. Another discontinued something, but it does the trick. Kay's a worker, though. She's been out here. She's mowed grass. She's weed-eated. She's helped me in the shop. She's got, that's her on security camera, hauling carpet off to the shed. But this is going to be her place, her creative space to hang out with friends, do projects, clear her mind, center herself, and just become even more awesome than she already is. Kay's art studio. The next structure is this 3-story partial warehouse space. I don't have a name for it, but I want to come up with one. As you come in, you'll notice the walls are all off. I'll explain all that here in just a little bit, but this is the entry.
Ooh, it smells like skunk in here. So I got some critters that have invaded my personal space, and it stinks. So GoPro batteries last about 7 minutes for me because I got the cheap ones. Everything I got's cheap. Even this camera holder is a painter's pole. So speaking of cheap, so this room, this is the first floor of the 3-story building on the property, and as you can see, all the metal walls have been pulled off. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that in just a minute. I'm gonna have my metal signs, my car memorabilia, maybe a display case or two that's got some of the paperwork and the brochures and whatnot of some of the cars that I have. Through the candy cane forest, there's a little stairway you go through. You go one way, you go up to the upstairs, and if you go the other way, you come into some more warehouse space, and that's what we're gonna go into right here. So this is the reason I pulled all the walls off. So here's how this would work. Trucks would come in, go across the scale, they'd get weighed. They'd calculate it in the office that was down there. It's the front office window. They'd drive up here, they'd back in to this section. Oh, miss, would you just cover up? Where's your modesty? They'd back up to right here, which used to be there used to be a dumpster in there, or not a dumpster, but a compactor. One of those big green compactors. It would compact all the trash, and it would go in one of those big green trash dumpsters, and they would haul the dumpster off to the landfill. So it was a transfer site. It wasn't a dump, even though I kind of did buy a dump. But it was a transfer station. And with a trash dump, guess what? Critters love trash. And they got all through the building. They got through the insulation. They made houses, they made tunnels, they had birthday parties, they had social functions, they had dances, they had senior events. I mean, they did everything. They did pretty much everything. So I had to go through and I had to pull off all of the metal walls. That's why you saw on the first floor, you'll see on the other two why there's no walls, there's no insulation. And all the insulation now is in about 81 bags over in the next building that we'll go through. Then back down the stairs and up the next ones. pretty narrow. I don't know how they got a refrigerator in here. And this was at one point one of the previous owners, I guess the ones that maybe built it, they actually had a living space up here. There was a TV up in that little cove. And all of this is kitchen cabinets. This whole section here was a full kitchen, if you can see that. The sink, there was a dishwasher. It was cabinets all the way around because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 plugs for all the appliances. There was a stove, a microwave, and then a full-size fridge, which is over here. I pulled all that stuff out, thrown some of it out. The kitchen, I think, is bigger than my actual house, this kitchen. Matter of fact, so is this floor. I got a little house. The first floor is more of like a display room. This one's going to be a lounge. This kitchen part won't be a kitchen anymore, but it'll be a bar essentially. We'll set it up like a bar, have a couple of TVs. So all my friends or family that watch the sport balls can come over here and watch, you know, someone play racket soccer on the football court, or, you know, watch them hit the golf goal. Try to get a golf goal or a sport foot. It's got to be your bowl. You can get a good look at a sports team if you get a T-bone. Okay, going from floor number 2 to floor number 3. Hey man, this is gonna be the fun one, man. So while everybody's down here watching the sport football, I'll get that later. This room is gonna be like a production room. So I'm gonna have all my music stuff up here. Editing stuff, computers, technology. I guess I'm using production room is the best thing. I'll have a couple of drum sets and whatnot, and I'll be able to edit videos, have a couple computers. This was a bedroom. This was an actual bedroom. There's a closet here, you know, for clothes. Maybe I could put my old snakeskin pants up here, my Western shirts that I used to wear, sleeveless shirts when I was a lot cooler than I am now. With a dumpster, one can imagine the amount of critters that would take over a property like this. All of these walls had insulation in them. They're now in about 81 trash bags out over in the building we'll go to next. I'll throw some pictures in here of the before, but they took over, basically. They took over the whole property. There were tunnels going through the insulation. It was all down these parts here. I spent a good 2 or 3 days, went through 4 different hazmat suits cleaning all this stuff out. It was quite the ordeal. Once I got the insulation out came the vacuuming process. And if you've ever vacuumed hazardous mouse poop, it's not exactly safe. So that's why I had the hazmat suits on, and I had a respirator. Sprayed it down with bleach. Was it bleach? It wasn't chlorine. It was one of those chemicals. And then vacuumed everything out with HEPA filtration devices and bags. I probably use about 20 vacuum bags, shop vacuum bags for a 16-gallon shop bag. So let's say I'm up here tooling around on the drums or something, editing a video and whatnot, and someone's like, hey man, hey, come on down and hang out by the fire. And I'm just be like, hey, okay, let's go. There is the old scale. You know, they drive across here and then they go in the office, see how much trash weighs, and then dump it off in there so all the critters can eat it and live in the building forever. And then make me have to go through and clean it however many years later. But this right here, I'm trying to turn into like a little sitting area. Maybe have a fire pit, grill, and then you know, you can play movies off of the side of the building right there. All right, so this one, it's basically storage, covered storage. At one point, I imagine the dump trucks were all stored here, and they're big trucks, so it's pretty tall. And right now, it's just got a couple of things of mine stored in here. This is that's the 81 bags of insulation. But this has got like a donor car for the Imperial project that's taken just about as long as the construction process is, and then the Auxland race car that I used for promo stuff. And then this Ford was a failed project of mine, so I keep it there as a reminder that you win some, you lose some, and that's the one that I lost. Although there's some pretty good parts on there. The whole purpose of making the video is just kind of show what the property's like in this state. It's under construction, I'll tell you that. It's definitely under construction. It's not done yet. Some of it's getting there, and I've done a lot of work on it. But hopefully, in a year from now, we'll see the progress that I make on it. And as it gets done, I'll make videos and I'll show you how it's going and all the problems that I'm having. Like this one right here, these doors. I'm gonna get these out of here. Just put a garage door in there because you can drive another car in there and have more space. More space is always good. And thanks to my little brother, he let me keep this here. So that's where I can lay down and take a nap. Take naps. I like taking naps.
And then on to the shop. This is a 40 by 60 with a 20-foot lean-to on it.
I put this in last for a reason. And the reason is, I don't have a reason why I put this in last, but this is obviously my favorite part of the whole property. And this is what we all look for as a place to work on our projects. Even if you're not working on cars, if it's woodworking or whatever your hobby is. I've been looking for something like this for the better part of 20 years. And I was working in my garage, which is a 12 by 20 or a 12 by 24, and about 6 feet of it was taken up by the stairs that go from the garage to the house. 10 feet, and the last 4 feet were about the size of a 68 Chrysler 300. So working on things were really small, and it was really complicated. It was really kind of a pain in the rear end.
So let me take this one step further. This is my parents' house. This is where I stored everything, and this is where I would work on everything. It took me about an hour and a half to get out there from where I live near Nashville, but I parked all my cars there. I had them in their garage. I had them in their basement. I had parts in their basement, and I'd work on them in the garage. And occasionally I would get those projects where you got to do a couple hours every single day. And like this one, I would haul all of my stuff from their house an hour and a half west, put it in my 12 by 24 garage. In this case, I turned it into a mini engine shop where I got a 440 out of an RV, tore it down, rebuilt it. This is where I'd work on it 2 or 3 hours a day at the end of the day. And then once I got the engine done, I had to load the engine and all my stuff back up on a trailer, haul it an hour and a half back east, set up the shop again where I had room to pull the engine out, and then ultimately put the other one back in. That engine I called the Black Sheep. It was a fun project. And then let me add another one to that. When I would work on a project like this, the donor car that I was tearing apart for the Imperial project, I don't know if it was a mad neighbor or if Coach just happened to be driving by that says, "We don't want you having that in your driveway because it looks ugly."
So finding this place was just overwhelmingly awesome. And I'm extremely thankful to be able to move all my stuff into a place like this. This place houses my projects for the stuff that I put on my socials. I make videos for these. I get these running, and hopefully I can garner enough attention to solicit some donations for a 501c3 nonprofit here in the state of Tennessee for raising money to fix people's cars that can't afford to fix them because everything's expensive these days. I like cars. I like nonprofit stuff, so I put the two together. You know, it's probably a small group of people, but you know, it's what I want to do. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
That's it. That is the shop tour, or that is the complex tour, or that is the complex shop tour. I hope you enjoyed it. This is going to be the home base for Auxilium Auto, Aux Auto on most socials. At some point, once the project gets done, I hope to have events out here. I hope to see people that see this video come out here to it. Everything that we do will end up being a fundraiser for Auxilium Auto in order to fix cars for deserving people that depend on their vehicles for whatever reason that is. But that's what I want to do. I want to pay for all that stuff. But I appreciate you watching. and I love you.